Hello everyone, Hamza here from Name Your Career. I'm a career coach, and today I would like to talk to you about this concept of work-life balance. In essence, work is part of life. No? Work is part of life. What do you mean work-life balance? It's like you're saying carrots, food, balance. Carrots is food, so I don't get it. First of all, the term is wrong, because what it says is that it just induces that work is opposite to life, and you know, you have to apply some sort of 50-50 somewhere. But if it's part of life, you know, I'm not ashamed to say, you know, my work is part of my life, and I love my job. So how come I have to separate it from my life and actually balance it? Besides, you know, when you put this concept of 50-50 and a balance, you know, does it mean that work has to be 50% of your life and then the rest of the 50% is family, health, physical exercises, social interactions? I mean, that's not fair. You see, this concept of balance between work and everything like else is not balance. Besides, one of the things I've learned is that balance is elusive. In nature, in real life, balance is elusive. Rarely equilibrium happens. And usually, why? Because there's a lot of things that happen in between. There's a lot of situations, you know, that happen, and you can't anticipate them. So there's always elements that just put this balance off balance. You know, it's just the way it is. So you can only pursue balance, but the work-life balance concept is wrong. Now, a lot of people, you know, sometimes I speak to my clients, I speak in front of groups, and especially in university students. And when work-life balance, the topic of work-life balance happens, you know, I usually ask them, but isn't it true that you have to work hard to succeed in life? And usually there's a blank, you know, people are thinking, oh yeah, you have to work hard. So how do you get work-life balance if you work hard? Well, you see, it's starting to cause problem, this concept. So I remember having set up a few companies. I remember I had to work hard. For me, work is not work. Work is a passion. I love doing what I do. And you know what? Sometimes close people to me, like my friends or people in my family, would say, hey Hamza, you have to keep a work-life balance. You know, you're never going to be happy like that. And I would be like, but I am happy. I am happy. It's just that I didn't have any spouse, I didn't have any family, so therefore, you know, I felt happier at work doing what I had to do than outside work. And I had a choice. I made a choice. So please don't feel guilty about this. You know, yes, you've got to work hard. Yes, especially if you're passionate about what you do. Don't sort of start thinking, oh my God, this is probably something wrong because I'm working so much. No. It's temporary. Sometimes you have to work hard for 2-3 years in your career until you actually reach a certain level, and then you slow down because, you know, other things happen, like you get married, and suddenly you'll be glad that you've worked hard before, so that you established yourself in a career, and you can actually do more reasonable hours and spend more time with exercising, with your family, with your social the social side of your life. So the work-life balance is really problematic to me. And you know, people would throw things at you. They would say, hey, if you don't look after your work-life balance, if you work too hard, you're gonna go and burn out. You're gonna go and burn out and go into a depression. And if you're married, you might divorce. You know, those guys that work really long hours, there's a high rate of divorce. So they use fear and guilt, and I so disagree with that. I absolutely disagree with that. The secret for me has been to always put boundaries in everything I do. Number one, I would always do the things that I love doing. I would always do the things that I love doing, and I would not do the things that I don't like, period. And what happens is that number two, when you do things that you love, you know what? Time seems to go by seamlessly. You know, you don't realize time has passed because it's just so beautiful to you. You're just completely lost in the work, and that's beautiful. It's a beautiful feeling. But you've got to put boundaries, and that's number 2. Because you do what you have to do, what you love, you know, you've got to put boundaries. That's number 2. And boundaries in order to allow other elements to come into your life. And I'm not talking about just working or and the rest of my life, but for me there's really 4 elements in everyone's life that have to be tackled. You've got the intellectual need, and the intellectual need is you know, we all need to imagine, we all need to solve problems, feel useful with our intellect. Another element is physical. You know, you have to look after your health, your body, what you eat, exercising, etc., etc. And spiritual, you know, you've got to meditate because we are spiritual beings. The simple fact that we are asking ourselves, hey, why are we here? What's my purpose? These are spiritual questions, you know. So you've got to take time to meditate, to ponder, to pray, regardless to what your religion is or what your belief is. Some people even use yoga to actually ponder and meditate about the universe. So, you know, regardless, we are spiritual beings, and that's one of our needs. And the final need is the social need. And you can have a family, friends, colleagues. You know, you've got to interact with them because staying by yourself is not good. So if you have these 4 elements, you know, you're using your intellect, physical, you're making sure your physical needs are addressed, your spiritual needs are addressed, and your social needs are addressed. You know, you're happy, you've got balance, and you don't have to worry about this. So sometimes your work is going to fulfill 2 or 3 of these needs, and that's going to be easy to balance. That's the true balance, by the way. And if work gets in the way, then for sure, because you're spending too much time on work and it's not fulfilling your, say, your intellectual, you're not learning anything, you're not solving any problems, you're bored at work. It's not fulfilling your physical, you know, you don't get to look after your health at work or your body or whatever, and it's not fulfilling your spiritual, and then the only thing you have is your social. So the only good things you have is when you leave work to go and meet your family, your friends, or whatever, then chances are it's going to be so hard to actually find the time to fulfill the other needs, which is. And so if your work doesn't have, you know, these needs, these elements, then chances are you need to change your job, you know, because if you go to work and you're not feeling stimulated intellectually or socially, for example, then it doesn't matter at what time you finish, you see, because even if you finish at 2 or 3 o'clock or whatever, it means that whatever time is left in the day, you're going to have to fulfill too many of these needs, you know, work is part of life. You've got to have some of these needs that are going to be addressed by work. So think about it this way. It's not about work-life balance, you know. It doesn't matter what time you finish. If you hate your job, that's not a life, period. It's just not a career, it's not a life. And how long, you know, are you going to be like that? So you don't have to finish earlier. That's not the secret of a happy life, you know, this balance. You just have to have work that's an extension of your life. And these are the 4, and look after the 4 basic needs of every human being. That's all I wanted to say, guys. So that's why I'm really against this work-life balance concept, because work is not against life or to put on the other side of life. It's part of life. So that's pretty much it, guys. Of course, you should work hard, and especially if you love what you do. People are counting on you. The world is counting on you. The company is counting on your intellect, on your social skills, etc., etc. Your family is counting on you. Just, you know, do the things you love and put boundaries so that you can allow other needs to take place. You know, so that you don't forget yourself and your passion. That's really, really important. But that's pretty much it. If your work includes 2 or 3 of these needs and you have to work a little bit longer than most people, then so be it. Work hard, play hard, and I love that. You know what? If you're passionate, I don't think that anything worth being done in this life, in history, has been done by just finishing at 5. That's just not the way you should think about it. So, you know, all the best to you guys. I'm going to leave you now because this has been very long, but I just wanted to give you my 2 cents on this concept of work-life balance. All the best, guys. See you soon. Hopefully speak to you. Bye-bye.